one of the exciting things we're doing now is the Zero Carbon Britain project, which is partly what Paul and Adam and Peter are doing in America. They're sort of trying to get the Americans on board. There's a huge conference called the Smithsonian Project out there. Zero Carbon Britain is, funnily enough, actually, Cat did the first energy projection report in the 70s, 30 years ago. So it would have been about the time you were here. And it probably wasn't very well received at the time because people, as you say, thought they were a load of mad hippies and didn't take on board the whole sort of energy crisis that they were predicting, probably prematurely. But I mean, with hindsight, if we'd started acting then, we wouldn't have the climate problems we have now. So anyway, we've gone back to this report and done it so much more thoroughly. And because we've got the Graduate School of the Environment here now, we've got some serious researchers who could, a lot of students did their PhDs, were they? Their theses on the various different aspects of the report. So the research in there can be quite detailed and thorough. And it basically outlines how Britain can get to a state of affairs where we're actually emitting zero carbon into the atmosphere in 20 years' time, in 2027, and the various lifestyle changes we'll need to see, how people can be reskilled, how infrastructure will have to change, how we have to improve our efficiency, better, simple things like better insulation, better use of public transport, and at the same time the energy that we are using, getting it from renewable power. And apparently the maths, I've not looked at it in detail, but apparently the maths adds up. That they're confident that it could be done, and we have the technology to do it, and we just require the political will now, which is always the tricky bit, getting the politicians to actually impose certain legislation. And the politicians are always talking, aren't they? And the words are always good, but the actions aren't great. But one of the proposed ways of doing it is contraction and convergence on zero through tradable energy quotas. So when you buy fossil fuels, you not only hand over money, but you hand over a quota of tradable energy tickets, if you will. Well, it's very weird because again, 30 years ago, I guess the community was the heart of CAT, and in some ways, the communities now is a kind of a relic or the forgotten part of it. And whereas in the 70s you had either all the staff and then in the early 80s at least half of the staff living on site and the people who didn't live here, whereas now it's very, there's 150 staff at the height of the season employed at CAT. So for the 10 people living here, we're very much a minority now. What we want community to be is as an example, a living demonstration of how easy it is to switch to a zero carbon lifestyle, and how it's not going to. We don't have to give up a lot of our home comforts and conveniences to live without fossil fuels. So, but we're still getting them on, and we still design and do a lot of our own work. We've got a straw bale building over here. We've built a new kitchen full of volunteers, which is a timber frame front and a straw bale back, and it's going to have a turf roof on it. So we still do a lot of designing and building work here, and a lot of the gardening as well. We're trying to keep Roger's organic and permaculture principles going.